Well, hey there, and welcome to this book launch livecast. I've been looking forward to today's livecast for a long time, and I'm going to introduce you to a phenomenal woman and author who's going to share just some deeply challenging things in her life and the victory she's had over those things. And you are going to love this. Before we go too far, my name is Everett O'Keefe. I am the founder of Ignite Press. And we are a hybrid publishing company. We specialize in helping people bring particularly their nonfiction books to market. And so if you have ever thought about writing a book, or you have a book and you're thinking about leveraging this in your business or brand or organization, reach out. You can find us at ignitepress.us, and we can sit down and have a talk about your book and your plan. But today is about a wonderful person, and I'm going to introduce you to MyChana Burton. MyChana is the author of Shame Off Me, Confronting Childhood Trauma to Heal Mind, Body, and Spirit. And I am just going to bring her on, and we're going to just dive right in. MyChana, how are you doing on this very exciting book launch day?
I am great. I'm great. It's an exciting day.
This crazy day. Now, did you ever think this day was going to come? I mean, this is very special book talking about these challenges that you've gone through. Did you ever think this was going to be in a book, that you're going to be sharing this with the world?
I knew that it needed to be, and it just didn't seem like this day was ever coming. So yeah, I knew that it needed to be.
Well, so let me put up the cover of the book so people can see this, because the book right now, Shame Off Me, is available on Amazon. You can pick the book up for the Kindle version for 99 cents. That's a launch special. The paperback is also available there, but I certainly encourage you to pick up the Kindle version of this book. So, all right. So MyChana, I've got a bunch of questions for you. And first, I just want to have you first tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into why you wrote the book. Tell us a bit about your story.
Well, I am a survivor of multiple years of childhood sexual trauma. And I used it as really a catapult of me doing something different. So, not for the grace of God, I could have had a very different story. But I've been able to get multiple degrees and own my own company as a consultant and coach in the agile space. So I am a writer. So that's where this book came from. It was a way for me to put like all of my passions and the things that I really feel passionate about in the world into a book in my healing journey, from the perspective of my healing journey.
Okay. And so why did you write this book? Is it, I'm sure there was healing involved in the process, but who'd you write it for?
Well, initially I wrote what got me on the journey to write the book is I was actually studying for my doctorate, with a focus on trauma. And in that process, I learned so much about me that the information I felt needed to be shared with the general public. Like, it needed to be expressed and available for people outside of academia. So I put this book together from my journey and my perspective of how it looked for me. So in hopes that people would be able to see themselves in their journey, to see that what the other side of healing can look like.
Okay. So your book is about trauma and victory over trauma. Why don't we start with tell us, what is trauma? How do you define trauma?
Trauma is a negative event that happens in your life that really can change the trajectory of your life, or and really how you see the world. And different people, experience based on their life experience may have a different definition of trauma, but it generally is something that kind of shakes your world and just shakes up how you see the world.
Okay. And by the way, I've got questions coming in from the chat log, and I'll be passing some of them on to you. Clearly, you've got some passionate supporters here. Uh, uh, you know, so we definitely will be sharing those. So you've undergone really challenging trauma in your life. Do you, how do you, like, and you're putting them in a book. How did your family react to this, and what thought process went through your mind as you're doing this? I mean, because you're diving into sensitive ground.
Um, what I'll say is, my family loves me and I love them, and they've showed the utmost amount of support for me. I do believe that they will read some things that are hard to read. But no, and believe is that they know that it was to actually allow other people to find healing. And so they know that was the purpose. But they've been extremely supportive, and I know that they love me.
Okay. And who are really the people that you've written this book for? Who's really going to benefit from what you've created in Shame Off Me?
I believe that anyone who reads the book with an open mind can have the opportunity to walk away with some nuggets from someone who was a survivor of trauma, who is looking for a path forward, to people who may be walking alongside of them, and to be able to actually offer some compassion by having a better understanding of what they may have experienced.
Okay. So, it's funny, MyChana, when we first started this process with this book and we started talking about your title, your subtitle, Shame Off Me was a non-negotiable. That title was the title. Tell us why off, right? Everyone's like, shame on me, obviously, is the common phrase we're familiar with, but tell us why it's shame off me.
Because it's the release of shame from me. It's Shame is the thing that is dished on trauma, the survivors of trauma, to keep them quiet. And in the shame, in them wearing the shame, they hold their secrets. And by releasing the shame off me, I'm saying you no longer get to have a hold on me emotionally. Um, you no longer get to dictate any part of my life or who I am and who I've become, because it wasn't my shame to wear. It's not my fault. It wasn't my fault. So therefore, you don't get to have the power over me anymore. I'm taking my power back.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And you have taken this amazing step by taking your personal story, something that most people want to hide in the shadows, right, and not talk about and not reveal. And instead, you've decided to make it available to the world through this book and through the conversations you have with other people. And I think about how inspiring that is, and how, like, it's the things that happen in the dark, if they're kept in the shadows, right, will always be in the shadows. And we can shine that revealing light, and suddenly then we have opportunity for change. Chris wrote, she says, hey, I got my copy. And she says, what was the hardest part of the book to write? What was the most challenging part?
Probably hands down, the most challenging part was to write the prologue, which is the of my trauma. And I believe that's going to be the hardest part for people who actually choose to take the journey to remove their shame and release their shame and actually just process their trauma is the act of fully remembering, acknowledging that there is I have this trauma and there is an I want to get through it. I want to not allow it to no to have a hold on me any longer emotionally. So that was the hardest part, was remembering and writing through all the trauma's journey.
Yeah. Now, MyChana, one of the things I know that your book includes 8 steps, I think, in to help people go from trauma to freedom. And I'd like to talk about where faith comes in. Like, where and how did your faith impact this journey that you've gone through?
Was the number one change agent. Other things, but ultimately, when it came down to it, my relationship with God and my faith was what actually allowed me to be able to see the healing, to get through some of those really tough times of processing the trauma, but just knowing that I was created for more, and that I wasn't being punished by the things that happened to me, but the things that happened to me when I was a child were purposed by design, allowed to happen, so I could actually be here in this place in this time to actually help others to experience and actually see their healing journey through.
All right. I want to pass on a couple more questions for you. Malia wrote, hey, you're such an inspiration. Do you have any advice for dealing with toxic family members?
Wow. Okay.
We can take a pass on this one if you want. It's okay.
It's understanding, being able to accept that your healing and your sanity and the toxicity of other people, the effect that it can have on your mental, emotional, and physical health, being able to realize that those things are real and that your mental health and physical health is important. Sometimes we have to make conscious decisions um, to choose when we deal with certain people, and to put ourselves in the forefront of importance, because if you don't, then it can actually truly have the toxicity of the stress can actually truly have an effect on all of those things, your physical, mental, and emotional health. And you being okay is most important.
Yeah, how many times do we not make ourselves important enough to take care of those things? And what an important message. So I want to remind everybody that Shame Off Me is available today on Amazon. You can pick up the paperback. You can also pick up the Kindle, which actually is on a launch special right now. You can get the Kindle version for 99 cents. And I would certainly encourage you to do that. Even if, by the way, you're not a Kindle reader, you need to know that first, there are Kindle readers available on every smartphone, every tablet. There are even Kindle readers available for your computer, on your laptop or desktop computer. And also, if you buy the Kindle version of the day today for 99 cents, you're actually really helping spread this message. Your participation in buying the Kindle version will help elevate the visibility of this book, and therefore help more people hear the message of really freedom, recovery, and healing from abuse. So I want to encourage you guys to do that. So I've got more questions. They keep coming in, MyChana. So do you mind if I keep passing them on to you? Like,
Yeah,
we're good.
let's get those answered.
So I just want to make sure.
Yeah, we're good. Let's go.
So Imani says, what is the first step in dealing with something that you've buried and stuffed down for so many years?
Really, the first step is acknowledging that there's something that you need to deal with, and then making the decision to process and start the journey, which is the hardest part, is being able to acknowledge that it's a problem and I want to do something about it.
Okay. And then I've got another question here, and that's this. I mean, really, MyChana, you've been on this healing journey for a long time. It started when you were very young, and you've been on this journey for so long. What was really the final piece, or was there a final piece that kind of helped you reach the other side? Like, what was missing before that you discovered that was really like, that really helped you go to the other side of this?
The thing that changed was having someone who was willing to walk alongside me, and not just walk alongside me, but hold me accountable to keep going, hold me accountable to turn back to the Word of God, to turn back to my relationship with God. Because, even in our relationship with God, sometimes we can feel like, we go through these things and maybe, God's not hearing us, but, having someone who is there with you to say, I'm here, I'm praying with you, I'm right here with you, you got to keep going. It was the thing that changed everything, was just having, someone who was willing to walk it out with me.
And and do you find someone like that? Is that in your friend circle? Is that in your church circle? Who do you go through that? Who do you go through that with?
It can be a professional counselor. It can be a therapist. It can be a friend that's your ride or die. That's just in it with you. A family member. It's that person that you can trust with everything. That will talk you through those hard times. Will encourage you to keep going. Will encourage you when those days get rough. But also be willing and able to say the hard things, say the things that it's hard for you to hear, but you need to hear. So having someone that can really, have that for you. And sometimes it can be a combination of people that are able to do that. I had coaches, I had, friends that were they were with me through through the process. And, sometimes people are in for a season of it, and then there's someone else that's going to take you to the next level. But there's always someone that's in a different place, and finding that right person that you truly feel you can trust your complete vulnerability with is what changes everything.
Yeah, I can think that that's a super critical decision along this journey. When MyChana, and this is maybe a tough question, has your definition of forgiveness changed over through this journey? And what was it before? And what do you see it now?
Um, for sure, because I had to study it out in the Word, and you know, sometimes what I found is that the hardest person to forgive was me, for surviving it, for not fighting more, for not doing something different. And understanding that we have to, as much as we offer compassion and grace to other people, we have to be able to offer compassion and grace to ourselves. But yes, my definition of how I saw forgiveness, because you can say, "Oh, I'm sorry," and it'd be surface words that you're actually speaking and not really like from the heart. But when you reach a place of true forgiveness, it means you hold no more debt over them. That means you're not going back, and because you don't wipe the slate of a ledger clean and then go back and try to collect the debt again. So when you actually are truly forgiving someone, you're wiping the debt as Christ wipes the debt for us when he forgives us. So we have to be able to offer that same forgiveness. But the biggest thing about forgiveness is when you do that, it sets you free, because you're the one that's staying up at night, and it's affecting you emotionally, and you're the one that's actually experiencing the unforgiveness. That person may not even know that they've done anything that they feel like they need to be forgiven from, but you being able to forgive them sets you free. And that's what is the most important thing, is you being able to sleep at night, you being able to have peace in your own self, is the type of forgiveness that's different.
I remember when, and it was one of my favorite authors, where forgiveness was being discussed, and the question was, does somebody have to ask for forgiveness for you to forgive them? Does somebody have to seek forgiveness for you to forgive them? And the lesson I learned was like, no, because they may never, like you said, they may not know that they need forgiveness. They may not bring themselves to a point to ever ask for forgiveness. But if you're not forgiving them, then you are just continually like you're allowing them to victimize you again and again and again. Like that, the pain lives in your hurt, in your head, in your heart, in your soul, and you continue to live it instead of somehow moving past to that point of forgiveness. And it sounds like that is what you're talking about, right? Oh goodness.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
MyChana, what would you like? How would you like people to tap in to what you have? Because you've put in this book, 8 factors, 8 steps that you think that people will benefit from along this journey. So they can get your book, obviously. Is there a way they can reach you, and is there a way that they can go deeper? Either with you directly or something else. Like where do people go to get the message of this and the healing from it?
Well, they definitely can reach out to me, follow me on social media. I am actually currently in the development plans of a coaching program that will allow you to go deeper with me. Um, but definitely connect to me. Very, I'm very responsive on social media. So if you reach out to me, and I will, be sharing more information as the coaching program becomes available, to let everyone know what is out there. But definitely read the book. If have questions, let's engage on social media. I'll be, trying to engage as much as I can, trying to go live and answer, I guess, ongoing questions that people may have. So people can just be able to have some time with me, some interaction with me, and then we'll see.
Excellent. And MyChana, I went ahead and posted your Instagram link into the chat, into the comments, as well as a link to the book on Amazon. And I think, are you just at MyChana on Instagram? I mean, is it that simple?
I am at MyChana on Instagram, at
Love it.
MyChana on Facebook.
I love it.
So,
I
yeah,
can't quite
having
pull
a
that.
unique name.
Yeah, I can't quite pull off the only first name thing on any of mine, but I'm glad glad that you can. Now, and let's talk about this. This is crazy because MyChana, you were just a month ago. How many Instagram followers did you have, roughly?
I think 164, like 364.
Okay. As of today, as of right
Yes.
now, you have over 52,000 Instagram followers on this. So this is really, really amazing, and it's clearly they've been responding to your message, right? To what you're doing. It's crazy. It's crazy the amount of growth there. Um, well, I want to thank you for trusting us with this really sensitive topic, right? And this very sensitive book. We're excited as you launch this message out to the world. We are blown away by just how bold you are, because it's hard to put personal stuff out just in general, and to share your personal story here, I think it's going to be really, really powerful for people. So we're excited about that. And then MyChana, so you mentioned people can reach you on Instagram, they can reach you on Facebook. You've got a program in development, and so that will be available before too long. So that is terrific. MyChana, thank you again for joining us also on this live cast. And is there any other thing you would like to share with people before I tell them one more time about where they can get your book?
I will just say that if anyone asks me, this journey is hard and it can be long, and it's not for the faint of heart. However, if I had known what this side of the healing process felt like, I would have taken this journey years, if not decades ago. So it's never too late to get on the other side of healing process, no matter how long it has been since you experienced the trauma. So go get your healing. Get the book, and you'll learn something that'll help.
Thank you, MyChana. Thank you so much. So just remind everybody they can pick up the Kindle version of the book today on Amazon for 99 cents. Paperback is also available there. And I want you to think about, the message that she has to share for you, but also for others in your life. Maybe you know people who have gone through physical abuse, who have gone through sexual abuse, people that you think would really benefit from MyChana's journey and lessons from childhood trauma to really forgiveness and freedom, and share that with them. I would recommend you pick this book up for them. So at this point, thank you again for joining us on our live cast. We are happy to help bring books like this to the market. And if we can talk with you about your book and your plans, then just reach out to us at ignitepress.us, ignitepress.us. You can arrange a complimentary book consultation there, and we can talk about your journey and where you want to take it and how you want to share your message with the world. Thank you again for joining us. Take care and God bless.